Are you looking to do deals and master flipping houses? Welcome to the DoDeals Show with our host, Mr. Tim Mai. As a successful investor and mentor to many real estate investors, Tim's students consistently run 6- and 7-figure investing businesses. Each week, you'll hear from top real estate investors who share the best strategies, systems, and secrets that you can use to be more successful. Tim and his guests will pull back the curtain for you to learn their exact tactics, tricks, and tools that are working best right now in today's real estate market. Now, let's welcome Mr. Tim Mai.
Okay, we are live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Tim Mai. Welcome to another interview. Today, I have Eric Willner on the line with us. Eric has the longest daily running real estate show in America and probably beyond. He's been doing this for over 18 years. And Eric, we're live on Facebook right now. What's the best tip you have for everyone regarding doing a radio show to get more deals, get more business from it?
Well, for starters, obviously, the last thing you want to do is be America's best kept secret. So this is a business. In fact, all sales is really all about, promoting yourself, and creating a brand.
Gotcha. Okay. And if someone wants to get started in starting their own radio show in their own local market area, what would you recommend them? Where would you send them?
When I started 18 years ago, I would say, go to your local bank and get a big loan. But in today's marketplace, with the technology that we have, and now with the advent of podcasting and everything, find yourself a good quiet place, a good quality microphone, and most importantly, have a good message. What really matters today is what kind of content or value do you have? Because finding an audience is a lot easier today. Getting an avenue or a channel is a lot easier today. What most people have a hard time with and don't realize, all the knowledge that they already have, but putting that content out there in a way that people are interested.
Okay, and then so you recommend whether they do a local radio station like the one you have here, or podcast to you, doesn't really matter, just start doing it?
Well, I'm not going to say that it doesn't matter, because even today, I think there's still there's a different level of respect that people, when you say that I do a podcast, well, any 16-year-old in the garage can start a podcast. And that's the good news and the bad news. So it takes a little bit of additional time to build the credibility in that area. Whereas when someone hears that you're on a bona fide radio station, particularly a better radio station, then that sort of lends instant credibility right from the gate. And so if you're serious about that, I would first of all study what your market is. For example, I started out on a radio station, on an AM station. Today we're on that same AM station, wow, and we're on 2 additional FM stations in addition to streaming live as we do every day. But on the station that you choose ought to be in line with the kind of clients or customers, listeners that you want to speak to. For example, I chose a financial news station. So the name of the station is called Money Talk Radio. So I was one of the first people there talking about the topic of real estate, but surrounded by lawyers talking about estate planning, stockbrokers talking about the market, financial planners. So everyone in who I wanted to speak to were, of course, people who were looking at different alternative investments.
Right.
Of course, we know which one the best one is.
Yes. All right. So anything you want to share with everyone on Facebook about your radio, and where should they go to listen to your radio when you do stream it live, so they can get ideas and hear how you run your radio and what topics you cover?
Absolutely. I'm excited you asked. The radio station is live 5 days a week. We're live Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can listen to the radio show on AM 740, which is the local station in Fort Lauderdale, on FM 106.9, No, I'm sorry, 96.9 and 103.9. So FM 103.9, FM 96.9, and AM 740 WSBR. Now, thanks to modern technology, we're now really a worldwide show because our show is carried on iHeartRadio. So if you have the free iHeartRadio app, all you do is search for AM 740 WSBR, and you can listen to us no matter where you are if you have internet or cellular access. And we have our website, ours, which is automaticlandlord.com. If you go to our website, we stream it live every day, Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern, on our website at automaticlandlord.com. So there's tons of different ways to hear us right now. And, of course, we have a Facebook page called The Real Estate Show, which is we are the original real estate show. And since we put our rebroadcast, so if you missed the show or you weren't able to catch it, within 24 hours, it's up on our Facebook page as well.
That's cool. Thank you so much, Eric. All right, everyone, we're going to continue with the rest of our interview here. Make sure you keep an eye out for when we post the entire interview. And if you like this so far, leave some comments, click on those likes, share it with your friends. So with that, we'll see you later, Facebook. Okay, Eric, we're gonna continue here, buddy. All right, so really cool that you started this radio. Take us back 18 years ago, or even I guess before that. You know, how you get started in real estate investing, and what gave you the idea to start a radio show?
Well, those two things happened at two very different times. How I got involved in real estate was I was studying electrical engineering at the University of Southern California back in the 80s, so a little while ago. And back then they had something called a newspaper. And in the newspaper, I would go in the back of the classified looking in, and they had an event. There was a 2-day workshop on real estate investing. And as a college student, I was curious. I went there and got hooked. So I was hooked on this in college. But living in Southern California as a broke college student, it's a big mountain to climb, especially back then where there wasn't the technology, a lot of the easy things to do. So that's how I got started, got interested, and then eventually moved to Florida, where I thought that the properties were much more affordable, and they were. They were tremendously much more affordable, and that's where I bought my first house, and that's how I got involved in real estate. I bought my first house, fixed it up, and then sold it just like pretty much a lot of the other investors out there. It wasn't anything magically different. It was just somebody who wouldn't give up on the idea and the concept of real estate. Now, fast forward, that was back in the, I would say, the mid-'80s, early mid-'80s. And then in 1990, say around 97, I was listening, as I often do when I was driving around, doing my real estate investing, which I was already doing. And I was actually a mortgage broker at the time, very busy in the mortgage business. And I heard a gentleman who was the first real estate radio show here in South Florida on the air, thought it was very interesting. I picked up the phone, I called the radio host, set up an appointment, went in there, and we became instantly very good friends. And so he was the first one. He liked what I was doing with the mortgages and so forth, so we worked together. And then he would ask me to come on his radio show and be sort of a guest. And it's always easier to do a radio show, by the way, with more than one person. When you think about having to talk all by yourself and maintain a conversation, one day lock yourself in a room and try to sit there and continue to talking without saying and ah for half an hour and see what that's like. But I would come on to the radio show, and it went on from special guests to, hey, when I'm out of town, will you take over and do the show for me? Until eventually in 1999, I went out and started the second radio show. And that's how it all started. I started off being a guest on someone else's show, got good at it and comfortable with it. And what's really interesting is it's really about being yourself on the radio, being very relaxed, sharing your message, and giving out good information.
That's great. So, nowadays, there's quite a bit of people have radio shows and stuff. If someone like myself, if I was to start new how do I go and compete with these, existing shows, and capture some of those audience attention?
I think first of all is define what your message is. What is your purpose? We are a real estate show. We're the real estate show, but our audience really is investors. The nice thing is that if the homeowner listens to how a real estate investor selects properties and makes those decisions, it's only going to benefit them and help them. So we have a lot of homeowners that listen to our radio program. But our message is really about real estate and why real estate is the ideal investment. And so we have a very unique message, and our mission is sort of to put on the free seminar that people all want to go to in little bits every single day. And so we're always sharing good knowledge, applicable, applicable, useful knowledge. And so there's tons of people out there in the radio world, but there's relatively few, in fact, very few, that talk about the topic of real estate, for example. So right there, you're unique. And then, of course, you have a huge history and a background that you can share, personal knowledge, all the experience, all the deals that you've done. So people want to hear that. They want to see through, they want to sort of live through you. How did you do it so that they can model it and then apply it and do it themselves?
Right. That's awesome. Now you have 2 stations that are FM stations. That's a big deal, right? To get into FM, because they don't.
Yes.
They cost quite a bit more, right?
Well, it does, but the point isn't so much, as I started out by saying, it's who is your audience. For me to get on and do my radio show and get on, the top country western FM station in Houston, most of the people are going to tune me out when I'm on, and they're going to wait for the music to come back on. So the most important thing is identify who is your most likely and your target audience, and start there. Start with one station, and then after a while, what starts happening is that other stations hear your content. Even on my station, I always ask people when they call in after hearing my radio show, says, what day or what time did you hear it? And I hear times when I know that I'm not on the air. And I've come to find out that sometimes radio stations will use my content as filler later on in late hours and so forth. And so what ends up happening, if you deliver good value, you'll find yourself even invited to other places, and then you just do a regular business decision whether it makes sense to add that station and go out into that new market.
Right. That's pretty cool. Now, you don't just do radio show. You also own a property management company. You do some coaching and mentoring. You also have your own rentals. How has the radio feed your other businesses?
I always tell people that the radio show is sort of the umbrella over everything. It's probably where I spend the least time, because when I'm on the air is the amount of time. There's preparation time and things like that as well. But I'll tell you, a lot of what I talk about on the radio comes from real life. So it's not, I don't research the books and the theories. What I talk about is what I do. So I think that, first of all, I think that sounds a lot better. People want to hear what is it that people are doing, not what it would be possible to do if the theory worked. So that's number one. The majority of my time is spent researching, finding good deals. I'm out there just like my real estate investing audience, looking for good deals. So, and that involves lead generation. And so what the radio show has, for us has become, it's a great way to give back, give information back, and help as many people out as possible. But a lot of people say, well, what I got from the 30 minutes of your radio show was great information, but I want more. And so they call you, and then you can see what is it that you can help them out with on your menu of products and services. So as you mentioned, we have a property management company. A lot of investors want to be in real estate. They want to have real estate. They want to have the benefits of real estate, but they don't necessarily want to do real estate. There's a lot of work, and this, that to find really good deals in the marketplace, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to find the prince.
Yes, you do. Right.
So a lot of the time is spent in that marketing, but the radio show provides buyers for the rental property or the properties that we find. It provides people who hear how we market, and we've developed a very automated, very efficient property management system that we're also teaching. So we coach and teach investors out there if they want to do it yourself, if they want to do it with us with some assistance, or if they just want it done for them. We have those different levels, and of course the radio show is what creates the awareness. As I mentioned, what you don't want to be is the best service that's kept a secret.
Right. So let's talk about that. How have you been able to automate your property management so much, right? Versus for most people, the property management part of the business is like one of the hardest. Part of the business.
Yeah, but people say, I love real estate if it weren't for the tenants, and of course that's who pays the rent, And so what we had to do, in fact, I've been buying and owning properties since 1985, and I just assumed it was the regular, normal part of it. I did the traditional form of property management, and I cut my teeth just like a lot of landlords out there. And then as I provided the service, got mortgages for investors, sold investment properties, the number one objection that we always kept getting was, yes, Eric, but what if I can't find a tenant? Yes, Eric, what if they don't pay the rent? What if they call me in the middle of the night? And I said, you know what? Here, what if? And we provided a service. We said, if you bought properties through us, we would manage the properties for free. And I'll tell you that if our sales were like this, they went up like that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When we offered it, we took away the one biggest objection, what I call the TNT of real estate, the tenants and toilets, and so people imagine if real estate, which probably provides 10 times the return of most investments, 20 times what a CD provides.
Right.
Imagine if real estate were as easy as buying a CD. In other words, I go to a closing, I sign the check, I sign the closing papers, and then after that, all I do is I get the return from my investment. And that's what our goal was to set up the company.
Wow.
And so we started micro-analyzing each one of those things. And then, like everybody else experienced in 2007, what happened to the real estate market? Right? And all of a sudden, we had this property management department, a great big property manager, someone in accounts payable, someone in accounts receivable, a receptionist, someone that run to the bank with the rent checks and all that other stuff. And all of a sudden, remember, we were doing this for free, but what really fed our business was the sale of the real estate and the mortgages that we were doing, and that had stopped. So we had to make a critical decision, an important business decision, which was, do we stay in the property management business and create a fee, not a free business, or do we get out and say, look what the market did to all of us? And a lot of our investors were retirees. They were people who really counted on us. And so we decided we're going to stay in there. We're going to stay with our clients, and we're going to ride this out, and we're going to figure this out. And so I went back to all of my clients, and and to my great pleasure, about 75% of my clients said, "No, Eric, we understand. We read the news. How much?" And so we converted everybody into a fee system. We made great deals for them. They got super special deals. But now I knew what my income was, and I had to shrink my company down to fit underneath what the revenue was.
Wow.
And that's where the automatic landlord was born, because we figured, what's the number one reason why tenants contact the office? It's to report a maintenance issue. So we're going to automate that. No more calling the office anymore. You email us, you fax us, or you can leave us a message, and then we'll handle it promptly. And then we created a portal for our tenants, and tenants can 24 hours a day let us know, and it gets handled right away. They get confirmation, they know that it's being handled, and then we know what we need to do. We have to contact the plumber, the air conditioner guy, whatever. So we handle the tenant side. And the other thing is, what's the number one process that we do is collect the rent. So let's make it easy. If they have to send us a check, we take no cash, by the way, never accept any cash. And I wanted to make sure that as we streamlined it, there was no room for anybody to abuse the system. So we then automated all the payment systems. You could pay Visa, MasterCard, American Express Pay online. You can pay with your ACH, your check. You can set it up on automatic draft. But the money comes in automatically. There's a complete paper trail. We take our fee and automatically send it right back out to the owner electronically. So there's no check in the mail. We cut our accounting department, 75% shrank. We eliminated costs. The bottom line is, after a period of time, we had a very automated system on the tenant side. And then what is the number one reason why owners call the property management company? Where's my check?
Yep.
Right? They want to know, did the tenant pay? Where's my check? So we gave them a separate portal, and they can actually come in, look, see if the rent is collected. So they don't have to ask me. They know. And they know that from the date the rent is collected, there's a small period of time, depending if they paid credit cards, it's faster. If it's check, it's a couple more days. And then they're going to receive, we're probably the fastest payer to our landlords than any other management company out there. And that's all because it's all automated. And I can show you how to do that with a portfolio of 1 or a portfolio of 100.
Wow. Okay. So for me, to automate landlording and not go by the property, it sounds kind of scary, right? And I get what you're talking about, where, you have investors, landlords who are retirees or doctors, where, they're looking at this as strictly a passive income stream. And so they outsource to you and you automate that. And, but for someone who's learning how to do this themselves, whether they have a few properties or not, the thought of automating everything and not even going visit the property sounds scary. So can you speak into that?
Sure. And it's interesting that you say that, because I have owners that never have seen the property that they bought. They live somewhere else. They've seen pictures and all sorts of things like that. And but other than that, this is close to buying a CD and just getting paid 10 times more than a CD, with the tax advantages that real estate offers and the leverage and the appreciation. There's no appreciation in CDs either. So the main thing is, of course, for someone to buy a property sight unseen and believe that when they write that closing check that they're going to see that someday again, plus a return on it, you have to deal with somebody who's reliable, a known entity. Now we've been in the market for a long time, and have a crystal clear reputation for a long time. And if you've been doing this business long enough and you have a crystal clear record, that's a pretty good indication. So that helps. That certainly helps. But number one is, again, back to technology. With today's day and age, I can look at properties in your city. I can virtually walk the street thanks to Google Maps. I can do all the research on the public records, what's the structure and everything like that. And through the use either of a boots on the ground, be they bird dogs or a local real estate agent, I can even have a second set of eyes to go look at it. So all that is available. And then all of the money, like I said, we're very careful to keep our money separated from the investors' money. So when rents come in, they go through the property management company, which is really a third party that is licensed. So it has to respond to a higher authority. And then that money, we take our portion out and send the rest out. We don't hold security deposits. We don't do any of that stuff to make sure that there's really no angle for abuse.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you're teaching other investors around the country, around the world, I guess, how to do this automated landlording. Is your goal for them to do it themselves, or is your goal to hey, here, we'll teach you how you can do it if you want to do it, and if you want to outsource it to us, you can. So which one, or both?
Well, I think in the perfect world, we would love people to say, Eric, go find the property, choose the right one, and we'll send you the money, and then just send us the return. You do everything for us. That's my perfect scenario. But we recognize that there are a lot of people who believe that they can do it themselves, and a lot of times it takes them to do it themselves a little bit for them to realize what an advantage a professional property management company has over them. Remember, when they need a new tenant, they have to sit down, write an ad, put the ad, on social media and the papers and everywhere else, and they start from scratch, get some momentum, get one tenant, and then they shut it all down again. In our case, because of the volume of properties, we're constantly marketing for tenants. We're constantly screening tenants. So there's a good chance that we have a backlog, depending on the area, for the tenants. So right there, we have an advantage that the other person, that a one-off or two-off landlord wouldn't have. It's kind of like the guy in the garage, right? He has all the tools. He can fix anything. You have a problem in your car, and all of a sudden you're trying to figure out, what tool do I need? What is the problem? How do I diagnose it when they have monitors and things to figure it out? So we can do that much, much better. So if they want to try it themselves, we'll teach them. Of course, that's where the coaching comes in. If they want to learn how to do it with some assistance, we can do that too. And so there's sort of a menu.
That's cool.
That you can do from.
Right. That's awesome. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up this interview here. Thank you so much for everything you've shared so far. If the listeners wants to get a hold of you, wants to reach out to you, do some business with you, where do you want to send them?
Okay. First of all, the central place is our website, automaticlandlord.com. Pretty easy to remember, Automatic Landlord. That's what we're all about. So that's number one. Number two, we have a toll-free number, which is 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. And check us out. Listen to our radio program. Again, you can listen to it on iHeartRadio, and you can listen also live streaming on our website at automaticlandlord.com.
Awesome. Eric, one more question for you, sir. I believe that all entrepreneurs are heroes. Do you see yourself as a hero?
I don't know if I've ever put it in the context of a hero. I know that entrepreneurs, and even though capitalism has gotten a bad name over the last few years, we do a great service. And entrepreneurs are, entrepreneurs are heroes. I agree with you, because they take the risks. They're willing to, go the extra mile. They believe in themselves and the faith, and ultimately they deliver a good product, a good service, because that's their ultimate reward. So, you know what? I agree.
Awesome. I'm sure your 4 kids totally agree too, that you are, at a minimum, you are their heroes, right? But, with all of these clients that you make a difference for out there, everyone from, the investors that are investing with you, to all the listeners of your radio shows, all the students you've helped along the way, all the sellers and buyers you helped along the way, all the tenants, I'm sure you are definitely a superhero for them. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Tim.
Awesome. All right, Eric, thank you so much for this awesome interview. And everyone listening in, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this interview, make sure you give us feedback, give us some good ratings, share with your friends, and we'll see you on the next interview.
And that's our show for today. If you have any questions or would like to get further training from Tim Mai, please visit our website at www.dodeals.com/Tim.